You're watching with BlackPerspective.net, and you're watching Last Week on BlackPerspective.net, January 26, 2009. And what we do here is we're going to review the blog and what's been happening on Black Perspective in the past week. Actually, I'm doing this a day later than I normally do it. Normally do it on Sundays. I'm doing it on Monday today because I had another video I needed to get out there that I had put off for a few days, so I need to hurry up and get that out yesterday, which was commentary on Barack Obama's inauguration speech, followed up with playing clips of the inauguration speech, followed up by some of my commentary, part one. I did yesterday. I'll do part two tomorrow. All right. Anyway, so to get right to it, the first post that we had in this past week was entitled "Michael Bell's Suicide Attempt and the Continued Misclassification of the Gen 6 Situation." All right, we all know about the Gen 6 situation. I was one of the bloggers who was out front and pushing that story back in 2007 with a number of other bloggers. The Afrosphere Action Coalition, which I co-founded with a couple of other of my blogging partners. We hosted a day of blogging for Justice for the Gen 6 back in August before it had gotten out to the public. I organized here locally to help take 10 buses with about 500 people from Nashville to the Jenna March, so I was down there for it. But anyway, at this juncture, a couple weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, Michael Bell got caught allegedly shoplifting, and after the getting charged with that, he in Monroe, Louisiana, which I had just passed through a couple days later, coming back from Grambling doing the Christmas break, visiting my granddad. But anyway, he got caught with that, got charged with that, and apparently he felt upset about letting everyone down and all the pressure that he felt on him, based on a feeling that he would let everyone down once the information came out about that, and apparently attempted suicide. So the post talks about that, but what the post gets into beyond those factors are the people who come out, "See, we knew he was a thug. That's why you should have never protested and supported them." Yeah, see, this misses the entire point, and it always has. The detractors of the protests about the Gen 6 situation have always mischaracterized and misclassified what that was always about, and they continue to do so to this day. I write in my post, their continued argument is premised on the notion that the Gen 6 protesters had decided that all the Gen 6 defendants were perfectly innocent and required no discipline at all whatsoever. This is simply against the facts. Sure, you may be able to find a few on the fringe, like with anything, that would take such a stark position, but not the actual organizers and voices of the protest. I can attest to this firsthand, being one of the more prolific bloggers on the situation. What our position was and still is is simply that justice has to be meted out with some equality, and everyone deserves protection under the law, and that the Gen 6 deserve justice. Whether the justice is that they deserve to be prosecuted for what they actually did, if they did it, because there is significant information that some of the people who were charged didn't even participate in the beating. Whoever did participate in the beating should be disciplined, but the discipline should match the action. And this was always the whole point. And I'm not going to rehash the whole issue because I really don't need to. You can go check out this post at BlackPerspective.net on last Monday, the 18th, I believe, is when it went up. Yeah. Michael Bell's suicide attempt and the continued misclassification of the Gen 6. The fact is, they were trying to put them in jail for life and charging them with conspiracy to commit murder. But the DA in his actions admitted that the charges were false all along. He never had any evidence to support charges that stark, because if he believed that they really tried to commit murder against Justin Barker, then he would not have offered Michael Bell a plea deal for a simple assault in which he got out after about 4 months after the march. So if you really believed he tried to commit murder, there's no way you offer that deal. Not possible. He admits with his actions that it was false charges from the beginning, which was always our point. Not that they were all completely innocent or anything of that nature. So getting beyond that falsehood, the next post I had up was some MLK quotes you've probably never heard. This post is about Martin Luther King, obviously, and the fact that a lot of what we hear from Martin Luther King is the same 2 or 3 quotes, 2 or 3 pieces of the same speech, mostly the "I have a dream" speech. So what I did was just list some quotes of some other information, some other things he said and talked about that aren't often highlighted because people want to, I guess, hide history from us because they, as one person said, they never came to terms with who Martin Luther King really was. So they have this TV rewritten history about him. For one example, a speech called "The Trumpet of Consciousness," 1967. He quote said, "A nation that continues year after year to spend more money on military defense than on programs of social uplift is approaching spiritual death." So he was making this point in 67. Nothing has changed in 42 years now. So this point obviously is a point that still can be made at this time.